Okay, I'm back. I was here yesterday, and I'm back again today. Well, I've been having a lot of fun doing these in the morning now, um, but I'm kind of confined to doing it at home. I really enjoyed doing these live chapter readings outdoors, but it's tough to find a place that's quiet enough so you can hear me. Whoa, dusting off the computer. All right, and I'm going to be reading. It's a good angle. I thought I'd try something different so you can see all three books. There we go. That'll work. Anyways, I'll be reading from The Greatest Storm again today. We are on chapter 6, I think. Chapter 5, chapter 6. And, well, you'll just have to watch the other videos to catch up. But here we are. The Tale of the Forgotten, Lonely Begotten Sailors of the Sea. From the book The Greatest Storm, from the series The Books of 9 and 10 Penance, Book 2 by J.E. Krieger, that's me. The Story of Allison White and Stephen Blackman. There's some ADHD for you. Anyways, I did the cover art for the book. The whole novel goes from between these two lovers separated by an ocean. So every chapter alternates between Stephen and the love of his life, Allison White, there in the little boat. And Stephen is stuck. We can't see it on there. He's stuck on an island, and she's sailing to go find him. So, hopefully you'll check it out. The Magic Paintbrush and The Greatest Storm are both on sale on Kindle right now for $2.99. The Magic Paintbrush has a bunch of art in it, so hopefully you'll check out the Kindle version. And if you like these live videos, leave a like. Subscribe, like the videos. Sorry. And let me know what you think. But anyways, or at least leave a review. I'm going to read from, if I can get this set up. There we go. Hold on. From chapter 6. I think that's what it is, chapter 6. The Tale of the Lonely Begotten. The Tale of the Forgotten. Lonely Begotten Sailors of Sea. All right, I'll get started here. I got my coffee. Allison White was left all alone in the sea. The myth was gone, vanished without a trace. With nothing to slow her down, she took a bite of bread and then picked up her oars and began rowing again. She paddled for hours with no landmarks in sight or a single star above to guide the way. She had no idea if she was sailing in the right direction that day. She did, however, have something she kept deep in her heart to help navigate the troubling waters ahead. The knowledge that once her journey was through, she would be reunited with the love of her life, Stephen Blackman. The more she rowed, the more she realized there was nothing for miles, just more waves and hard work. So she set her oars down, ready to give up, when she saw a fin dash in front of her boat. She focused in on this moving mirage, turned her oars, and paddled near, but soon realized she didn't have to. Whatever it was swimming towards her at an alarming pace. So she turned to the left and steered clear to avoid another unwarranted attack on her boat. After all, she didn't know if it was friend or foe out there, and she couldn't afford to take any more chances. The unknown drew closer, just 3 waves away. Soon she would have to confront the inevitable, pray they meant her no harm, and just wait and see. She blinked once. When she opened her eyes, she was surrounded by what appeared to be 7 lonely men with fins for legs. Every one of them carried with a 3-pronged stick, and an angry look upon their lonely begotten sailor's face. If there was a tale to tell, it lay behind the lines sunk deep under their eyes, crudely drawn in with a heavy lead pencil. Allison reached for an oar, but it was of no use fending against an angry mob of seamen, determined and willed to hunt her down. Then one of them, a burly man who wore a crown on his head, swam up to greet her. She put her oar back down and listened to what he had to say. It was a good thing she did, for what he had to say would help her on her trip. My name was once Carl, when I walked on two legs. We did not mean to startle you, but I assure you, we have good reason for stopping you from paddling around in these waters. It is because you sail on in a great big circle. Allison was puzzled. Then she remembered something the myth said before she swam away. Intrigued by what he knew of her position in the sea, she had to know more, so she asked, My name is Allison White, and I was also told by a woman with a fin where her legs should be that I've been sailing in her waters in a great big circle. Whatever did she mean? This lonely begotten sailor of the sea scoffed and sneered in her face. That was no woman. For whatever reason she has created a slow-moving whirlpool under the sea, meant to keep you sailing on in one spot. Are you sure that I've been sailing in a circle? Just look under the waters and you shall see. Allison took a good look and noticed there was a pattern in the waves, as debris from the ocean floor swirled along with it. Though she couldn't believe something of this size was brought on by one woman who seemed so small and insignificant in the ocean, as vast and wide as it be. Maybe you speak of someone else who has done this to me. Carl the merman slowly raised his head as he stroked the patchy thistles on the end of his chin, eyes wide in the truth that he spoke. A soft glimmer in her eyes, long blonde hair that flows endlessly into the sea, ruby red lips enticing any man who comes walking along, and the bluest of blue for pupils in the center of her devil-cut eyes. Yes, 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 all of those things, I think, Allison replied, sincere. It was her, all right, I assure you. She is no myth. I assume the only thing missing was her softly spoken voice, but I suppose she has no use for it on you. No use for it on me. I just had an interesting conversation with her. You have just spoken with her? Carl replied in shock. Yes, not that long ago. Men, gather round. Our hunt continues for that no-good blubber whale. If you could just point me in the right direction. You just missed her. I'm afraid she vanished under the sea without a trace. Then the hunt continues. So long and good luck. Wait, I have a few questions. What is it you wish to know? We haven't time to waste, for if she swims near these waters, I have a date with her I'd like to keep, and the sharp end of my three-pronged stick I'd like to shove into her cold, blackened heart. Allison took a good look at the men swimming around her boat and wondered why they sought out the temptress so vigilantly. I guess now I have so many questions I don't know where to start. For one, why do you seek her? Did she do something to you to deserve having her heart plucked out? She lured me and the rest of the men I swim with away from dry land. All it took was one glance at her temptingly beautiful physique. Now we are forced to live out the rest of our days under the sea, eating krill and rotten fish. I hope that answers your question. Now, if you could, just point us to the last place you saw her, so I can soften those bluest of eyes with a blood-red stain. I have just a few more questions. Out with it, then. We haven't a moment to waste. Carl spat with a muggy grin. Why does she keep me in one spot? I haven't the slightest of clues. Perhaps she finds you amusing or has decided to keep you sailing in this circle as a toy or a snack for her pet Isuzu. Oh, I met her pet the other night. Carl looked at Allison in disbelief, well written on his scraggly blue face. And you survived? Yes, it was a most terrifying row for my life. Perhaps she has reason to keep you alive, and so we shall keep you company until she returns. That would be wonderful, and I have a few more questions, if you don't mind. If it will help pass the time, I would be glad to answer all of your questions in more detail. Allison took another look at these lonely men. Their faces were a washed out blue and full of scraggly, unkempt hair. It appeared they'd spent quite a long time under the ocean and were in need of a good shave. Though she looked on at these men as if they were a myth too, their presence and anger for the one they seek seemed quite real. She had to know more, so she asked why they felt she deserved having her heart plucked out. That is a fair question, Allison. You better clear the wax out of your ears, because this is a tale you will want to hear. You have my full attention. Hold on, let me get a drink here. Do. Hello, person. Oh, should have brought water. All right. Back to, where was I? Oh, here it is. This is one of my favorite chapters in the book. Our names do not matter, for our fates have already been sealed. I could tell you all of our tales and give you our names, but it wouldn't matter. The story of how we ended up this way is always the same. It all started about a year ago for me. I was walking along the shoreline on a bright and sunny day, minding my own business, when I found a conch-horn washed up on shore. That's when that evil temptress appeared out of the ocean like a faint mirage. I asked if she needed help, but she seemed to be doing just fine without my assistance. Then I noticed a fin where her legs should be. I was lonely, and I would have followed any woman anywhere, especially one as charming as her. I've learned from the error of my ways since then, though the cost is something no man should have to pay. Once she felt she was close enough to lure me in, she stopped dead in the water and flapped her tail, causing a splash. I was dumbfounded to think what I was seeing with my very own eyes could be real, but it was. A mermaid sit in the waters before me, speaking words that had me intrigued. The way she spoke was enchanting, like some kind of magical spell. Words any man, even one such as myself, would be happy to hear. These are the words she spoke, Allison, that held me in a trance, as if under an unbreakable spell. My name is Isis, and I am a mermaid. I've lived my whole life and never come across a man more handsome, more dashing, more daring, more charming, and more enchanting than thee. I could not believe my own eyes when I saw you. I just had to swim up to see if such a man could possibly exist. Now that I know you are real, I have but one question to ask, and that is, will you have me? I caution any man to rethink their life if words so foolishly spoken have been spoken to them. I couldn't believe it. I'd searched my whole life and never thought I'd find someone who wanted me all to herself. But there was a catch, a line of deceit behind those bluest of eyes. Her hooks were already in deep. So, like a fool, I said yes. I was a man, and I knew things would not work out unless I too had fins for legs. She then told me something I couldn't believe. She'd stolen my heart at that moment, so I continued to listen. Yes, you are a man, and I am destined to swim in the sea. But what if there was a chance? If fate stepped in and said you and I could spend the rest of our lives swimming, jumping in and out of the ocean, as happy as can be? Of course, I said yes in a hurry. I immediately asked how. Any man would be a fool to pass up such an opportunity as this. I couldn't think of anything else except for the lips she used to lure me in. After I said yes, she told me something that truly made me believe fate had a hand in us meeting that day. If you want to spend the rest of your life with me in complete bliss and harmony without a care in the world except for me, then you must go to a cove not far from here and look for a conchorn, then bring it back. I told her of how I had already found such a thing washed up on shore. I said I would be right back with it. I did not want this mirage, this myth of the sea and all her lovely beauty to disappear into the backdrop of the ocean. So I kept my eyes on her as I carefully surveyed her voluptuous physique. On the way back, I tripped over a rock, as I was far too entranced by it with her beauty to look where I was going. When I looked up, she was further out to sea. I set foot in the waters, but she was nowhere in sight. I thought she must have been a mirage like you had thought. But just as I turned around, this elusive dream reappeared in the distance, luring me in with her voice, a lullaby sung by a venomous snake. I swam out to meet her, but she was only trying to lure me away from land. I now know, I know that now. Of course, she was leading me on, tempting my will to resist her serpentine like charms. She was even further out to sea, but close enough for me to hear the devil's tongue spit when she talks. I asked why she swam away if she knew we were destined to be. I hung on her every word, for she was so beautiful, a maiden of the sea with the bluest of eyes. She had me trapped with the voice of an angel, good enough to entice any man who came walking along, and she was using that voice on me. Weird. Unfortunately, I had to tell her it was impossible. It would never work out. After all, I was still a man back then, and she was destined to spend the rest of her life jumping in and out of the sea without me. I cried, "Why have you swum so far out to sea?" She replied with a glow about her. "If we are ever to be, then first I must tell you something to know if it is truly meant to be." I asked what it was she felt so important she had to swim so far away to tell me. "First blow on this conchorn, and then leave it on shore, as you will no longer be a man, but a merman of the sea fit for someone like me. Then, and only then, will I tell you what you first must know, if we are truly destined to be." I blew upon the golden crest of the conchorn, and turned into a merman. Then I swam back up to shore and left it there, along with the life I once knew and my legs, which I dearly miss to this day. I then swam back out to where I thought she would be waiting, but as soon as I had my head above water, she was gone. I kept a close eye for her return until the sun began to wane. Then I decided I better try my luck on shore. Just then I heard her voice beckon me to wait. I did as she asked, for I felt like she truly was in love with me and only me, with all her heart. She then said the strangest thing. "You have 7 days to return to this shore. However, if you find this is not the life for you, then blow on the conchorn, and you will turn back into a man, but can never again swim with me." It seemed like an obvious choice, so without knowing my fate if I did not return within the 7 days, I told her I was fine with the life I must lead, if it meant being by her side. She then asked for a favor to prove my love to her was real. Without hesitation, I said, consider it done. I now know that if any woman should ask of a favor from a man for things she does not need, just to turn the other cheek and let another foolishly give in to her demands. This is what that wretched temptress of the sea asked of me. To show you are truly the one, then you must swim the ocean depths and retrieve a few items for me. When you find what I seek, return to the spot where I now sit, then swim under the ocean and place the items in the giant clam that rests below my tail before the 7 days pass. I told her I would retrieve whatever she desires. I'd bring her the moon if she asked. The stars in the sky would be plucked one by one if she commanded. She then continued to ramble on about her lust for things she does not need. To show you are kind, set a fish free from a line and bring back to me the hook as proof. To show you are mine, bring back to me a ring found on the end of a fish's tail. Last but most importantly, to prove your love is real, be back before the 7th day pass and bring back to me the heart of the sea. I asked her what she meant by the heart of the sea. She told me I would know when I found it. She then told me if I was back before the 7 days were up, she would truly know it was meant to be. I blinked once, and she was gone. With my new body, I was able to quickly learn how to swim. Hold on. I began on my search for the first item she sought at once. The ring was easy to find. The sea is littered with debris and rings on the end of fishes' tails, left by lovers lost at sea. Freeing the fish on the end of a line and bringing back the hook was another task that any merman who swam for her could complete. But the heart of the sea? We have all searched for it, and as far as we know, such a thing does not exist. Now I know the heart of the sea was just a myth, like the promise she made to me. The only promises she really knows how to keep are the ones she makes to herself. To seek men with 2 legs who walk on dry land, place them in a vice, and curse their souls to the depths for the rest of their lives. Like all the mermen you see before you, we return to that spot with the items she seeks. Like all before me, I swam down to the depths and placed the 3 items in the giant clam as she asked. Though no merman here has ever held the heart of the sea in their hands, we each brought back something in its place. I don't think it would have mattered what we brought her, for when that clam of hers gets a hold of something it likes, it clamps on tight and does not let go. I swam back up to the surface, only to meet up with Isis and her demands for more things she felt she desperately needed. It wasn't the heart of the sea she was after, or a man to spend the rest of her life with, but to toy with the lives of men who search their whole lives through for the love they seek. Every man who brought her what she asked for within the 7 days, unfortunately, is lured away time and time again by her irresistible charms. Once I resurfaced, she asked that I seek 3 more items of her desires before I could swim with her. When I returned a second time, she asked for another 3, and I gladly, once again, swam away searching for something that could never satisfy her needs. It wasn't until the 3rd time when I returned to that spot I swam to so long ago, I realized she would never be satisfied with the things I brought her. Many men who once stood on 2 legs before me have spent their whole lives trying to appease her, only to live out the rest of their days in complete misery. We are the few that have learned from the error of our ways. Now we seek to put her at the end of our sharpened 3-pronged sticks, so this fate never has to fall upon man again. Of course, later on I would come to find out the heart of the sea was real to some degree, though it is cold and chilly and has never known warmth. You see, she had her heart with her from the very beginning, and will allow no man within its grasp. Every now and then she finds something she desires that a merman cannot provide for her, and that is a pet. I believe you've already met her latest creation. I heard word from other fish. She found a rather large tree torn up from its roots after a great and powerful storm tore apart her waters. She used her magic to turn the tree into a serpent, as cold and deadly as her charms. Creating these mammoth beasts is another way she gets her kicks. She lures sailors away with her charms, but rather than give them the same fate as us, she summons her newly created beast and brings them to the bottom of the sea. Once the sailors' lives can no longer serve her a purpose. Ones like us who do not yet know of their fates retrieve the golden trinkets left behind to fulfill her lust for things she does not need. The heart she claims to possess lies in the middle of her current attempt to bring sailors to the depths of the ocean floor. Her heart is lodged deep within this new creature of her design, and it is impossible to capture or kill. Izuzu is relentless in its unwarranted attacks, and perhaps more possessive than her when it comes to collecting things from the sea. From what you've told me, it seems her pet has taken a liking to you. That is why I would caution you to tread lightly in these waters from here on out. That is quite a tale. You had me hooked on the first line, Allison replied. So now you truly know of her wicked ways. Now you know why we seek to put her at the end of our three-pronged sticks. I will never forget your tale, Carl, or the men you travel with. It truly is one of the saddest tales I have ever heard. It's getting late, the sun is going down, and I'm sure her pet will be back for you soon enough. To show that we are kind, we will help you sail out of these waters so that at least you will be able to sail on. Speaking of which, where are you headed? The mermen of the sea, forced to eat krill and rotten fish for the rest of their lonely begotten lives, helped push Allison out of the great big circle. She then told them her story, which left their hearts dry. And now I sail in search of the love of my life, Stephen Blackman. Do you know where I might find this island he's trapped on? I was told it lies somewhere between here and nowhere. I will never forget your tale, Allison, or the fate that has befallen upon the love of your life. It truly is one of the saddest stories I have ever heard. Oh, and yes, the island you speak of, we know where it lies. I promise, cross my sailor's heart. We will see to it you are reunited with your one true love. I just hope he's worth it. He is. Allison spoke with confidence that he was. Fair enough, then. Men, set course for the island shrouded in the strange mist. We will see to it she makes it there with the last of our breaths. The mermen changed their position and guided Allison's boat towards the island shrouded in the strange mist, as the sun began its final hours of the day flickering across the waves. And that's the end of that chapter. The next chapter will be The Men with the Long White Beards. So it's kind of an odd angle, but that's the book I've been reading from. A true romance, a true love story. And those who've been following along, I hope you've enjoyed it. If you like romantic comedies and silly tales, tricking stories, that definitely is a book for you. But I'll be back again tomorrow, and then I'll take another break. But you can check on the playlist. I've been reading from this book, and I've already read. That book's already on there. I wrote both those novels. That one's about a boy trapped in a painting. You can actually listen to the whole novel on my channel. So just it's under the playlist. Part of the series, The Books of 9 and 10 Penance, and there's the third novel, The Tale of Yelizelsky and the Unicorn. But those two are up on Kindle Reads right now. Anyways, I hope you'll check them out, and I hope you'll tune in for tomorrow's reading. Yeah, and I've been having a fun time doing this, so probably stick to the weekends and doing them in the morning from now on. But thanks for those who tuned in to listen.